Hey, thanks for staying with us as we continue down that journey to find a CIAA football championship later in November right here in Salem, Virginia. Today now we have the preseason pick #1 in the CIAA South, and that team would be the team that won it the last 2 years, the Broncos of Fayetteville State University. And with me I've got, Mr. Brandon Smith, an outstanding wide receiver, and the head ball coach at Fayetteville State, Richard Hayes. And Coach Hayes, I'll start with you. Thank you and for being with us today. And last year was a good year, 5-1, 6-3, number 3 offense, number 3 in rushing, number 3 in sacks, and number 1 kickoff return. And that gentleman right there is one of the reasons why. But what do you do to repeat those numbers and get that championship trophy that you so badly want?
Well, first, good morning, everybody. On behalf of my athletic director, Mr. Anthony Bennett, we'd like to tell you that we appreciate you for having us up here to the city of Roanoke, Salem. You've been a gracious host for us the past 2 years. You've treated us like we're at home. Commissioner, you've done an outstanding job. We appreciate your leadership. What is it going to take? Pretty much, we're going to have to continue to do more of the same. We're just going to have to get better at it. We've come in here a couple of times and said we were young. We can't say that this year. We're experienced. We're a little bit older. We're a little bit wiser. I'm a little bit wiser as a head football coach. I'm doing some things a little differently. We eliminate turnovers. We can take that trophy back down the mountain.
Yeah, 2 years ago we talked, and I think you had, and my numbers are off a little bit, I'm sure, but 50 freshmen or 50 new players. Today, with maturation process, you're probably at 30, 35 of them. But what I'm saying is that those young guys are no longer young. They're veterans. They've been through the wars. Right. Some of them experienced 2 CIAA championships. So, Stevie Green's back?
Yes. Yes.
Stevie Green back?
Be a senior this year.
Okay. We know Brandon's back.
Yes.
Offensive weapons. Is offense going to be the key, or is it going to be the defense again?
I'm going to take something from Coach Barlow. I think it's going to be every facet of the game. It's going to be our offense, making sure they don't turn the ball over. It's going to be our defense, getting off the field. And it's going to be our special teams, putting us in good scoring situations. I think that's been the key to our success. You punt it to us, you got to worry about Ty Sharp. You kick it off to us, you don't have to worry about Brandon Smith. I think that's part of it.
Brandon, Coach actually set us up really good because it's very rare that you have a team that has the #1 punt returner as well as the #1 kick returner and outstanding kickers, place kicker, punter. It's gotta give you a lot of pride that you know that you are such a big part in the success of your team before you ever get in the huddle for offense.
Oh yeah, excuse me. It really does. Excuse me. It really does mean a lot to me. We're very competitive as teammates, and we're a family, so we push each other, and that's what makes each other better, so it really does mean a lot to me.
There's that quiet competition in practice every day.
Oh yeah. Well, it's not even quiet. We're always rambling. Coach is like, hey man, calm that down. I'm like, all right, we'll calm it down for a little bit, but when he walk away, we're gonna be talking again. So yeah, it's really competitive.
And you're one of those guys that lets your play kind of do your talking too. I think you had 3 ball games this year where you had over 100 yards yourself in return yardage. So are you a speed guy? Do you get a lot of great blocks and you wait to block, or is it a little bit of both?
It's a little bit of both, man. The kickoff return team is very close. Like I said, we're a team, so we trust each other. They trust me. Sometimes they trust me so much when the ball is kicked, I see them turn around looking at me and not even blocking. That's how much they believe in me, So yes, we trust each other, man. That's the most important thing.
Defensively, Keyshawn James.
Yes, sir.
Keyshawn, Anthony Harris.
Yes.
I know Elvin De La Rosa will be back.
Yes.
So you're not. See, I have to call the names because you won't. I know how you do. And with the big boss right there, he told you don't tell me so much. I understand. I know how this works.
That's my guy.
I know it. He's mine too. I love him to death. But are there guys other than those 3 we mentioned that are outstanding contributors to your defensive plan?
Definitely. I think you have to think about guys like Nigel Peel, Krishawn Springs, our 2 junior linebackers. You have to think about Jerome Bentley, our starting free safety, who was out. He got hurt during the Chowan game, and he missed the rest of the season. We're counting on him to come back this year. Alex Woods does an outstanding job. Karan Blunt stepped in and filled in for Jalen Kowser when he got hurt the remainder of the season, and we didn't miss a beat on defense. So, we're confident. We have a lot of guys returning, a lot of guys that have played in big games, a lot of guys that have suffered big losses. And so we're just trying to put it all together and, like I said, bring that trophy home to Fairview.
You've got a number of running backs you can do a lot of things with. How about the same with wide receivers?
Brandon Smith, Brandon Pearson Boyd, Jalen Gavin, Ty Sharp, those guys, man, and two of those guys are first-team all-conference right now. Those guys do a heck of a job preparing, getting the defensive backs ready. That is a competition in itself on a daily basis. And I also have to say kudos to Coach Jones, who coaches our special teams. He coaches Brandon Smith. He's his position coach. He also coaches Ty Sharp. He also coaches punt return. So Coach Jones does an outstanding job with our special teams.
Brandon, which is easier, punt return, kick returns, or either being lining up in wide receiver? Or either easy?
Most definitely kickoff return. Just because I can just start from far back and just use my speed to run, real fast guys. But hopefully this season I will get more involved in the offensive side, getting my books more, stay more focused on the offensive side.
2 kickoff returns for touchdowns or 3?
3, if I'm not
3, I think.
Yes, sir.
Three. Is there one? Do you remember one that has a better thought to that? Do you know after a couple of steps that you can take this to the house?
After about 20 yards in, I think I know for sure. But the one that I remember the most is the Johnson C. Smith. When the first play of the game.
It's coming in.
No, I think he left out. I think
Keep going.
He knew it was coming.
Going.
But Johnson C. Smith, the first play of the game, it was hype. Everybody expecting us to go out with a bang, come in hard. Coach Hayes say, "Hey, you better show me something." All right, so pressure on me already. So as soon as the ball kicked, it was like 98 yards, I think.
Yeah.
So as soon as the ball kicked, it was like straight line, one cut, I'm gone.
That was the opening kickoff, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
That was the opening kickoff.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Yeah, I remember that. He doesn't put pressure on you, does he? He would never do that.
Nah, not all the time. But most of the time, it's just on myself. I just put that pressure on myself and the kickoff return team. But 9 times out of 10, we handle it pretty good.
Interesting. I'm looking at scheduling. You don't leave the state.
Correct.
You do not leave. That's great. That's great scheduling.
Well, we're trying to do better with that. We've taken those long trips from Pennsylvania after a 7 o'clock p.m. game. We've left Bowie after a 7 o'clock p.m. game. That's long. That's tough for us, and then have to come back that Sunday and get ready for the next team. So we talked about it a little bit, my athletic director and myself, and we have it about where we want it right now as far as scheduling goes.
And those non-conference games, September 7th, Benedict, and then, as we mentioned a couple times a day, and then Wingate on the 14th. And that not to throw out the conference games. That's not what I'm doing.
I got you.
And not to overlook the Benedict game, but that Wingate game, it was a close game last year, and that Wingate game, and them being what I think there was a 9-4 in NCAA. That's a game that can tell you a lot about your program, don't you think? And I see you shaking your hands. So Brandon, why don't you answer that first? And then we get
that really tells us a lot about our program and how much heart we have. Wingate is always a dogfight for us. We already know what to expect when we come in the game, but they always give us a hard time, and we always bring back the fight. So it's always a tit for tat thing.
Brandon, what's your major, real quick?
Mass communication.
Mass comm.
Yes,
so
sir.
you're another person trying to take my job.
Oh yeah.
We'll let that go. Go ahead, talk about that Wingate game, please. Real quick.
Well, I think it's a measure of success for us. We get to determine how good we are. Wingate has been the #1 team in our region before, and they played 13 games last year. So that is a tremendous football team. We went in there last year thinking that we had an opportunity to beat those guys. We felt really good about the game plan. But, of course, if you turn the ball over, you make a few mental mistakes here and there, you're not going to beat a good football team like Wingate. So we have to iron out the kinks, and we'll be prepared for those guys as we will for everybody else.
Uncle gave me some. We were at a practice. We were watching a football practice one day this fall. I won't tell you what school. And we're watching practice, and we started talking, and he mentioned some notes and some personal information. And he said, you want it? Are you interested? And I said, yeah, I'd love to have it. Of course I would. You know, and I may not coach, but, you know, broadcasting in life. So he mails it to me. And then before I even got a chance to read it, he wanted it back. So I had to make a cut. You said, you get my stuff? I said, yeah. He said, I want it back. I said, I hadn't had a chance to read it yet. I'm slow. I was a little slow. But I read it, and it was great. And I got it back to him. And, you know, I had to. You know. But the information and the knowledge that you can gain, and we're pumping him up, yeah, but that you can gain from a Bill Hayes. And also the fact that he coached at Winston-Salem and then also Fayetteville State. You've got to have a certain sense of pride and confidence and fear too.
Oh, yeah.
Going in what you do. Talk about that connection, if you would.
Well, been watching him coach since I was 6 years old. When he first started at Winston-Salem State, I watched those games in the 70s, throughout the 80s, played for him at A&T in the 90s, coached with him in the late 90s and the early 2000s. Everything that I've learned from him. And to this day, he still gives me nuggets and keeps me balanced. When I think I'm riding too high, he brings me back down. When I'm a little low, he lifts me up. You know, so I can call him any time of the day. He's going to answer. We'll meet up. We'll talk about it. And, you know, he'll come to practice if I need him to. I'll try to eliminate that sometimes because he takes it over.
No, he'd never do that, would he?
Hey.
He'd never do that with the offensive line.
No, yeah, he looks at those guys. But I got to tell one story. We had a 10-minute segment for PAT, and I said, I'm gonna give you 5 minutes, coach. Man, we looking at our watch. It's 25 minutes in, and we trying to move to the next segment. And we still on PAT team. I said, come on, coach. Hey, but I got to let him have it. And all the coaches understand what he brings to the table. They all are willing to listen to him. And I think he's a great asset to me and every other coach in this league, as well as Coach Taylor.
Yeah, they're both. We are in CIAA are so fortunate to have two legends that
right.
did it on the field, they did it off the field. And you know what the best thing about both of them, for me, you know, is that they're your friend and they're class acts and they really care.
That's right.
And that, you know, that's just, but we can
right.
love on them all day. We keep moving. One last thing though, on a serious note, and Brandon, talk about this. Jump in when you feel too on this last thing. You guys, the Fayetteville community, Fayetteville State was hit very hard with the storm, with the hurricane last year. I say that because the Down East Classic was postponed. We'll have that this year. But can you talk about the rebuild of your community? How important Fayetteville State is to the community is to Fayetteville State, and just that whole love affair.
I'll let Brandon start because I think the area he's from, down in Rayford, I think they were hit pretty hard.
Polk County.
Yeah. The community, they always support us. You know, they come to the games, pack out the games. So when we got hit with the hurricane, it really hit all of us. You know, even the guys that wasn't even from Fayetteville, it still hit us hard because we still loved our support system. You know. But we really bounced back pretty well. The team bounced back pretty good. Coach Hayes was making sure we all was taken care of. You know, the guy, I love the guy. He'll give you the clothes off his back, you know, but I doubt he'll give you the food off his plate. But he made sure we was straight, man. So yeah, we really love the community, and we also want to bring back that beautiful thing right there called a trophy. We haven't had one of those since 2009.
Yes, sir.
Almost over a decade. So yeah.
I'll say it was very tough dealing with that hurricane situation. While most everybody else in the league was practicing and continuing to play, we had to send our guys home. We couldn't practice. You know, we had to call them on the phone. We couldn't even get into Fayetteville. You had to go 3.5 hours out the way just to get into Fayetteville. So there was no way, as much as I was trying to push it and as much as I wanted to play those games, it wasn't possible to do so. But we had to rally those guys up. We had 3 days to prepare for Bryce Witt and Coach Place in Chawan. And, you know, that particular week told me a lot about our football team. When you can come in, practice for 3 days, go into Chawan, get down by 14, and come out of there with a 45-42 win, I mean, that was a barn burner for us. And it told me that, you know, we had a solid foundation. We had a bunch of good young players, and all we had to do was get those guys to believe. And, you know, we went on an outstanding run. We didn't finish the way we wanted to, but the future is bright for us.
Well, Thank you for that, and I hope your family's okay, and if the community's okay, because I know we talked a couple of times, and I know what a challenge that was for you, and it still is to this point. They're still rebuilding there, so that's a good thing. So thank you very much, and I would say good luck, and we look forward to seeing you in Fayetteville up here or in Salem, but you know the way, so you've been up here before.
I know how to get up here. I just got to figure out how to get back a little happier.
We'll figure that out.
3 times a charm, Hope.
Say what?
3 times a charm.
Third time's a charm. Everything happens in 3. We'll see. Do you enjoy coming up here? Other than the game, everything else has been pretty.
I do. It's beautiful scenery when I drive up here and go through the miles around the curve. I love it. I will say a couple coaches up here today have took some shots at me, and I'm looking forward to the challenge. That's the only thing I'm going to talk. No, I know it's going to be a tough road, but we'll be prepared.
We look forward to seeing you. We'll see you in Elizabeth City. In Rocky Mount. It's in Rocky Mount. Watch me end up in Elizabeth City. I can't understand why no people at the game.
You'll miss the game.
Rocky Mount for that game. The Down East Classic will be in September 28th, Elizabeth City. And it's for a great cause, by the way, Elizabeth City and Fayetteville State.
Yes.
Brandon, great job. Coach, as always, good job. Thank you, and thank all the Bronco fans.
Thank you. Go Broncos.